Welcome to the Mostly PT Podcast. I'm Brad Bomert.
And I'm Alex Bretschman.
And today's episode is sponsored by Creamed Honey. Soft when it's warm and hard when it's cold.
Should we try it?
Yeah. It's got a cool little lid here. Welcome back.
It's been
Episode 21. It's been a while. We might start just uploading videos quarterly. So,
Our podcast can now drink. It's got 21 episodes.
here, let's get a little bit of ASMR in here.
Get it up in.
A little bit of ASMR. It's creamy.
I'm gonna try not to do it.
It tastes just like honey, but it's like,
It doesn't have the texture of
is
honey.
it
It's
green?
No, it's tan. Beige.
Look at that. This kind of looks like Play-Doh.
It tastes like honey.
Maybe a little bit of cream.
Is that why they call it creamy honey?
Probably. All right. Sorry, we're a little rusty
It's
here.
been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
I haven't seen you in.
Yeah, 2.5 months. We talked about it before.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Been busy.
Yeah, we've been busy.
You know, finished
You know
the
what?
semester, started class again. It's life's just gets in the way sometimes.
It does. But like, I feel like we're the type of friends where it might be 6 months before we see each
I
other
could see
again,
you for-
and it would be like we just saw each other yesterday.
I think it's
You know what I mean?
like in 3 years we'd and then just be like, oh hey man, what's up?
Yeah, but let's not do that.
Let's not do that. We should commit to hanging out.
We
Or
should.
want a schedule.
I'm not a scheduled person.
Okay,
But
well, just more on a whim than.
maybe just hit me up a little bit more.
Hey, you know what? I gotta hit him up.
All right, we're gonna start her off with the NPTE questions.
Yeah, that's on me.
Three-
Here we go. From June 9th. A patient presents to an outpatient clinic with complaints of right knee pain. The referral states the patient had stem cell injections 4 weeks ago. Which diagnosis would most likely benefit from this type of intervention? A. Osteoarthritis. B. Patellofemoral pain syndrome. C. Anterior cruciate ligament sprain, grade 3. Or D. Prepatellar bursitis. Would you like the
It's
question?
between osteoarthritis and bursitis.
Okay. Would you like the question again? You want to read it?
No, the patient has a stem cell injection. What is the most appropriate presentation to have that?
Yep. What condition would benefit from it the most?
Can you read the answers again?
A. Osteoarthritis. B. Patellofemoral pain syndrome.
It's not that. If it
C.
is, it's stupid.
ACL sprain, grade 3. Or D. Prepatellar bursitis.
I'm gonna go osteoarthritis.
You would be correct.
Okay.
Great job.
Because you said prepatellar. Is that even a thing?
Yeah, it's from the patella. Come on, man.
Prepatellar bursitis.
Prepatellar bursitis.
What about postpatellar?
Probably would have been the answer if it was there. Let's go.
1 for 1.
June 4th. Download the PT365 app. No free ads, but download it anyway.
We're not sponsored by them.
Not sponsored. Ooh, cardio palm question. You ready to lock in here?
Yeah.
A physical therapist treats a patient in the intensive care unit with significant fluid loss. Which objective finding is most likely based on the patient's current medical status?
Lost weight.
Not an answer.
Oh.
A. Dependent edema. B. Distended neck veins. C. Orthopenia. Or D. Postural hypertension.
Oh, this is a good one. Can you read the question again?
A physical therapist treats a patient in an ICU with significant fluid loss. Which objective finding is most likely based upon the patient's current medical status? A. Dependent edema. B. Distended neck veins.
Okay, hold on. Dependent edema, you're gonna have more weight.
Right,
So, okay.
You got that one out. Okay. B. Distended neck veins. C. Orthopenia. Or D. Postural hypotension.
Distended neck vein.
Incorrect. The answer was D. Postural hypotension.
Why?
Postural hypertension often occurs with fluid loss due to the reduction in blood volume. The condition refers to a state
Like
of
if you're
low.
dehydrated or something?
They're like Fluid loss, I think they're either A, meaning like they're bleeding out, or dehydration. One of the two. Yeah.
I messed up there.
All right, let's go to one that I got.
50% right. Let's go.
You need this one here. Should we? I got both those right. Should we go to one I got wrong?
Sure.
All right, let's go to. Oh, let's try this one. Musculoskeletal advanced. Oh yeah, gait question for you. Here you go. From June 13th, a physical therapist observes the patient has a limitation in plantar flexion range of motion on the left during ambulation activities. This mobility restriction would be the most apparent during which of the phases of gait?
Limited ankle plantar flexion.
Correct. A, terminal swing. B,
Well,
loading.
let's just slow down. Terminal swing. Okay.
B, loading response. C, initial contact. Or D, mid stance.
And which would it be? It'd be the most apparent.
It'd be the most apparent in a plantar flexion limitation.
Say the answers again.
A, terminal swing.
Terminal swing.
B, loading response. C, initial contact. Or D, mid stance. Yep, let's get up. Let's watch here.
Okay, so they're going like this.
So that's terminal swing. That's initial contact.
Loading response.
That's loading response.
Mid stance.
Mid stance.
That's a tough question.
It is a tough question. That's why I got it wrong.
I would say initial contact.
You were incorrect.
33% right.
It would be loading response. Why would it be initial contact? You're in straight dorsiflexion in initial contact.
Oh.
I was
thinking dorsiflexion.
It was plantar flexion. No, yeah. Dorsiflexion would be probably initial contact over terminal swing because it would be most apparent if you're not making a good heel strike, initial contact. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to go through the question when we know the answers.
Yeah, but when I was picking this one, I was not between initial contact. I was between loading response and mid stance. I picked mid stance.
And we both got it wrong.
We both
Same outcome.
Correct. Same outcome. Just different answers. Those.
All right, gotta read up on my NPTE questions.
You gotta work on your phases of gait, man. Did you name the 8 phases of gait according to Rancher's
initial contact, loading response, mid stance, terminal stance, initial swing, mid swing, terminal swing.
There's pre-swing.
Pre-swing, initial swing, mid swing, terminal swing. That's 8.
Sure.
Which that was a question. Okay. On to the next.
We gotta look like such idiots doing
Yeah,
this.
we are. You know what? But that's real life, all right? We're not just going to come on here and pick 3 questions that we've already reviewed. We're going to show it from the real side of things. When you're with a patient, you're not going to be like, oh, let me look it up. All right?
Next time,
you gotta just know those things.
Next time,
and if you don't, you pretend you know.
Next time we record, or like we pick a day, I should save 3 in advance and not do them, so we both do them for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should get better at that.
We should.
The problem is, we usually do it in the spur of the moment, and it's like the day
Yeah.
of, we kind of decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just save 3 random ones. It's fine. All right. Would you rather? Let's get into the meat and potatoes, or the creamed honey of the crop. Okay. Would you rather? Well, we're gonna do 2 today. This is a little warm-up action.
A little light hitter right here.
Would you rather be stuck in an endless day or an eternal night? The answer is simple here.
It's day.
It's night.
Why? Doesn't make any sense. Why would you would hate life?
Yeah, I would take a vitamin D supplement.
Right.
It would be fine.
To never see the sun come up again, you're insane.
Well, for one, if people on here don't know me very well, I like to live in darkness. Okay, if I'm studying, when I was studying, it had to be completely dark. If I'm chilling in my room, completely dark.
You haven't told the viewers much about your personal life.
No, I haven't. I like to live in darkness. It's just more vibey, all right? If it is dark, okay, turn a light on. If I get sad, turn a light on. But if I'm sad, I'm going to want it dark. If I'm happy, I'm going to want it dark. Consistency.
I can't get behind that.
If I get a migraine, I'm gonna want it dark. Okay? If it's really light out, that's gonna make it worse.
I can't get behind that.
Okay, then where's your...
Like, you go outside and you enjoy the sunlight.
I can still go outside and see the nice...
but it's dark outside. I mean, I like night. Night's cool. But day is just so much better.
That's
the
terrible.
sun is shining.
That's terrible.
It's probably going to be warmer.
Or just...
Yeah. It'd be perfect. I mean, if you want to sleep, that's what blackout curtains are for. You can make your room darker. I think everything that... Sunlight is required for so much more than I think we realize that I think it would just be more like...
Yeah, no, I probably would get some kind of like sickness or I don't know. I'd be vitamin D deficiency because I would have to take a lot of...
Like, are you doing it purely off the aesthetic? Like it's like...
The vibes. The vibes.
Just
it's
off
vibey.
The vibes
It's
of
vibey and I enjoy being in darkness.
I think you'd have your best... Well...
And yours is... Sunlight is better than darkness.
It is because it's
because it is.
So
it is
okay. So when it gets dark at 4:30 in the winter, you're not.
I
just
love
like
that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Oh man,
because then I'm able to.
Seasonal depression just doesn't affect you, does it? You don't even know what it is.
I'm always in the same season.
The season of
darkness.
See, like this is my favorite time of the year because it gets light at 6 in the morning and then it gets dark at 9:30. It's perfect. You have so many hours of sunlight for activities outside. It's amazing. In the winter, when the sun comes up at 9 in the morning and it goes and it sets at 4:30, you're tired by 6 and you're like, my day's completely like I don't know what to do. I have to like stay inside because it's dark outside and it's cold and it's miserable. Why would you want that?
The question does not stipulate is it going to be cold or warm. 2,
well,
if you really like sunlight that much, live in Alaska 3 months out of the year.
You know what? I might.
Okay.
I might.
Yeah, then we'll be doing podcasts from our phones, even though we already do.
Touche. Yeah, be on the lookout for Zoom / Microsoft Teams pod coming up here soon as I head to my clinical and Brant and I will not be able to meet in person. So,
where's your clinic or what
Near
what
home.
setting?
Rural community hospital.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
You get a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Now, this is I would say the better would you rather.
This is the better would you rather.
There's going to be a lot of stipulations here. It's going to be, you're probably going to ask me 5 times, what about this? Can I do this? Can I do this?
It depends, man.
It depends. It's the whole point of
Be okay with the gray.
Be okay with the gray. Live life in gray and darkness.
Hit it.
All right.
Hit it.
Would you rather object a wedding every time you went to one, or take a selfie with the deceased at every funeral you go to?
This is such a hard question.
But the one thing with this question, the one stipulation with this question is like, if you take the selfie, it's with everyone there. Like they see you take the selfie. It's not like you can go, oh, let me quickly take the selfie.
Okay. Can I ask this? Is it at a funeral or is it at like a wake?
A wake?
Yeah. Like when
I don't even know what that is.
People walk through and pay their respects.
It's with the deceased.
Like
if they're all, you know what, with the prayer and everything, and everyone's gathered, and it's right by the burial, take a selfie. If it's where everyone's at and they're visiting the person in the casket,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you
deceased.
take it, as long as it's done.
Everyone sees it. That's the stipulation.
Does the casket have to be open?
They see. I did not say he's going to ask 5 million questions.
I think
it has to be with the deceased.
Yeah, it has to be.
I feel like it would be just as bad if the casket was open or not. But I mean, it's a selfie, so actually, it would not be a selfie. Oh my gosh! It would be a candid.
I got it.
Candid. They're not ready. They're not ready for the picture.
I have the end all be all answer to this. Like there is no way you can argue with this fact. Okay, you ready for this?
Let's hear it.
You're taking the funeral. That's my answer. You want to know why?
I'd love to.
Like I was thinking about obviously the public awkwardness at weddings. Like I just went to a wedding of a family member of mine. That would have been terribly awkward if I'd stand up and yell object at one of my family members' weddings. That'd be crazy. So like I'm thinking like, okay, throughout this next stage of life, you're probably going to be invited to a lot of weddings because all your friends are getting married. That would be terrible. What would be even worse is you are a father someday, and you have a son or a daughter that's getting married, and you have to object at the wedding. Yeah. That would be awful.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
That would be.
Okay, here's another.
What about you taking a selfie with your dad?
This is a terrible question.
Up.
Oh,
That would be so messed
okay,
up.
okay. A stipulation question.
No.
Do you have to go to everything that you're invited to?
I would say yes. If it's not, no, because then your answer could be, I'm not going to anyone's wedding. I'm not going to anyone's funeral.
Right, but like
That's you have.
I'm trying to think of how often do you get invited to a wedding.
Don't think about the stipulations. Think about how you're going to answer the question.
I'm trying to critically think. That's the way my brain is wired.
Okay,
Grant.
then here's my critical thinking for you.
Okay.
Yes, the question states you have to take a selfie at every funeral. You have to object at every wedding. Okay?
Yep.
I can object at the wedding. Now, what happens after is up to me. I can say, I object, and then make a joke after.
No.
Yes,
no.
yes, why not?
No.
Because here's my reasoning. If you take a selfie and you go, oh, I'm kidding, that does not work. That is not going to work with a dead person.
Okay.
And you take a selfie and you go, I'm kidding.
Okay.
That'd be even worse to say, I'm kidding.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. Now you're doing the stipulations thing with me.
I didn't
Now you're
use
changing
the
the question.
I did not change the question. I used the stems of the question, and I answered it.
Okay, if you want to play I could stand up at a wedding and be like, I'm just joking, whatever. But like, usually when someone objects at a wedding, they're objecting the marriage because they don't want the couple to get married.
That would be an objection.
And also, let's say you're invited to within a friend group and you have to do it or whatever, and all the friends and everyone knows that you're going to do it because you did it at the previous wedding. That would get so annoying.
Yeah, it would.
That would be terrible.
Both of these
scenarios
are terrible.
You probably just get beat up just for being
both
there.
The scenarios are terrible. It's would you rather.
They're
both terrible.
Oh, you haven't answered the question.
I answered it. I said
I doing the wedding.
Yes, I would pick the wedding
God.
because I would say I'm kidding or some kind of joke after it. But you cannot do that with a selfie because it would make it worse if you were to say, I'm kidding that I took a picture with my dead deceased person. I'm not going to say family member.
You're turning it into a joke rather than like, I'm not viewing it as a joke. Like if you object at a wedding, it's like a serious thing. Like no one does that.
But you can make it a joke compared to the selfie. You cannot make that a joke.
That is a decent point. I'm still picking the selfie though.
Like
morally, both of them are wrong, but I think you can.
And then I can actually object. And then I can actually object at a wedding that I actually object to. You're not going to take a selfie with anyone.
You're going to object at your own wedding?
I'm going to object with with someone that I don't want to get married. That's fine. Then you can't do that. You can't. I'm not going to say, I have someone that I want to take a selfie with when they are deceased. That's off the cuff. They're both bad.
They're terrible.
They're both bad.
They're like terribly ethical things.
They're terribly ethically terrible.
They're not ethically things.
Don't do those at home, kids.
Yeah, don't do that.
Or at funerals or at weddings. Unless you actually have an objection.
My take on it though is, or like what I was thinking earlier is, I've been invited to more weddings than I have been like gone to funerals.
Yeah, just wait till you're about 75, 60.
Yeah, when your friends start.
The recent or the.
That's why
the next 10 years, yes, a lot of weddings. The next 50 years, it's going to catch up to you. It's going to catch up to you.
Like I'm more likely to be able to go, the probability says I'm going to be invited to more weddings in the next decade than I am funerals. That's what probabilities. Well, is it?
Yeah, but we're not. But it's not the next decade. It's your whole life that you're gonna.
But okay, by the time you get to the age where all your friends are starting to die and you're going to their funerals.
All my friends are dead.
Push me to the. Oh my god.
That's horrible.
Anyways, when you get to the age where all your friends start to pass and you start to get invited to their funerals, that could be the societal norm at the time. In 50 years, that could be the norm.
What?
You take a selfie at the funeral because you're like, hey,
you know what? See, that's a good answer. That is a good answer.
Buddy Jimmy had a lot of good memories with him. Gonna miss him a lot.
That's a good answer.
Have a great time in heaven, pal.
It's a good answer.
You know what?
You know what? That was a good answer.
No, that wasn't a good answer.
That
was a Brant answer, and that's why you think it's so good.
I know. I didn't think of that. I just thought it was a good answer.
Thinking outside the box.
I do want to say one more point. The objection to a wedding can be ethically, like from a moral standpoint, okay. Right now, taking a selfie with the deceased is never morally correct right now. Maybe in the future, but right now it's not. So one can be, one is not.
Okay, like, there's obviously people at the funeral that you're taking the photo, but that's like, you can try to sneak it. Like, obviously they're gonna see, but like,
no, it's
at a wedding.
The stipulation before that I pointed out was everyone sees it.
Okay,
because then we don't talk about it.
Yeah, because at the wedding, you're in the middle of the ceremony, in the what do you call the pastor? I guess the pastor, the guy that's
cathedral.
No, there's a term.
The pastor.
There's a term
pastor.
for the term for the person that's marrying the people. There's a term. I can't remember it.
Well, look it up. I don't have my phone.
I really don't know. Anyways.
All right, that was a good one.
When he goes, I'm not done.
Okay.
Well, this is my last statement. When he goes, does anybody object? Actually, they didn't even do it at the wedding that I was at, so you'd have to just find it.
They don't really do it at weddings.
Yeah,
anymore.
Because no one objects. That's why this is. No one.
Let's make that a thing. If you really object, you should. You should object.
But
if you do,
let's say you're in the 13th row out of 15. You stand up. I object. You got 300 eyeballs looking right at you, and you're like. Just kidding. Love you guys. You know me. I'm Brett. This is why I'm in the 13th row and not in the groom's part because I object at weddings. Funny.
Or you just
and then you got to do that the next 10 years of your life because all your friends are getting married, or you just don't get invited anymore.
Or your best friend's dad passes away and you have to take a selfie with him. That's messed up, bro. Messed up.
That's a terrible question. But probably one of the better would you rathers we've ever had.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that was so good. We shouldn't even call it Would You Rather anymore. It's just like, is this ethical? That's what we should name.
What?
Let's rename the segment. Is this ethical? Does this go against your moral values?
That's good.
Oh.
Okay, let's get into the PT topic. A couple of them.
What do we got?
Favorite joint in the body. I didn't even think about this when we made it.
Shoulder.
That's wild. Why?
Because of the 3 planes of motion that can go through, and they're just cool.
What are the 3?
I think that it's my favorite. This is what we should rename it to. What's your favorite joint to treat?
No, it should be favorite joint.
Well, okay, it's the same for me, both of them. But I think the shoulder. The shoulder is so cool.
It is pretty cool. It's
like,
got a lot of mobility, not a lot of stability.
You need a lot.
Okay, it can move a lot. It can move a lot. What else? Why did you pick the
rotator cuff is really cool, I think. Did you know
it's really cool? How's it cool? Why is it cool?
Because there's 4 muscles that rotate the shoulder internally and externally.
The sits muscle?
The sits muscles.
Yeah. What are they?
The supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the teres minor, and the subscapularis.
That's good.
I know my rotator cuff.
He knows his rotator cuff. That's why
teres major not included. It's the tiny lad. Does internal rotation. Anyways, yeah, shoulder's really cool. And then, do you know there's 18 muscles that attach to the scapula in some way, shape, or form?
The what?
18 muscles that insert on scapula, or either originate or insert from the scapula. That have muscular attachments.
Yeah, we both had cadaver lab.
Yeah, could you name all 18? I got
probably
tested.
Not.
I got tested on that the other day.
I probably could.
I missed one.
I mean, I could think about it. If you gave me some time, I probably could.
Yeah. I literally just went through like.
I would have to envision the scapula and go.
Yeah, I went through my anatomy checklist and it was tough. Yeah, shoulder's my answer. A lot of mobility. It can do a lot of cool things.
glenohumeral joint.
It's not a humeral joint. Yeah.
Because the shoulder.
Yeah.
Joint.
Complex. As a person who did throwing sports growing up, it's cool because that's the main mover of
cricket.
No. Throwing a football, baseball, shoulder joint.
Okay. Yeah. Good answer.
What's your favorite joint?
Mine's the SI joint.
Why?
It's like, I don't know if it is the strongest, but it's one of the strongest joints in the body.
That's a good argument.
I could go. It never is usually. It's usually never involved with things. So when people say, "Oh, I got an SI joint dysfunction," usually not the case.
Usually not the SI.
Usually not the case for. I don't know that exact percentage, but I'm just gonna go off a whim here. Probably 80%, 90%.
That it's not.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
With low back pain. If we're looking at low back pain.
Yeah.
Because most low back pain people will say SI joint dysfunction. Which, what does that even mean? But that's besides the point. It's a strong joint, okay?
We can't move
It's everyone knows the name of the joint, SI joint.
Yeah.
No one knows glenohumeral joint, right?
Yeah.
It's very it's
okay.
common knowledge, that name of the joint.
Yeah, but no one can tell you what SI joint stands for. That's not in healthcare.
Sacroiliac.
It's not in healthcare. Like Gen Pop, I got SI joint pain. What's your SI joint? I don't know, the thing in your back?
They could point to it though.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
You can point to,
Yeah,
I don't know if you can point to glenohumeral.
What? Oh yeah, if you didn't know what it was.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it's the same argument.
Yeah.
And medical terminology, I mean, yeah. Health literacy. It's a little bit of health literacy. Any other reasons?
I mean, those are the
Sciatic nerve, maybe?
those are the main ones. What?
Sciatic nerve.
Are you answering my question?
I don't know.
No, those are my reasons. Those are my big reasons.
Okay.
SI joint, shoulder joints.
What's your, okay, you want to go least favorite joint?
We could add that in there, off the cuff.
I have an answer. I think I have an answer.
I gotta think of some joints here.
My second favorite joint.
Interosseous membrane.
Come on. My second favorite joint is the knee. He's cool.
The tibiofemoral joint.
Yeah. Least favorite joint, radiocarpal joint.
Why?
I just don't like the wrist. It's hard to measure range of motion and stuff. I mean, not really, but it's whatever.
It's floppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's cool, but like, you got all the carpal bones there, and it's not, people injured all the time. You have a Coles fracture.
Shoulder joint's actually way more prevalent than the wrist joint.
Yeah, because if you want to talk about like torque and stuff, if like Foosh injuries, yeah. But
Foosh, that's a cool name.
fall on outstretched hand.
That's correct. All right, we have another PT question.
We do?
Yeah, this is the good one.
Oh.
Well, that was good too, but
That was solid.
all right, I'm gonna say a statement here. This is a statement that's kind of a hot topic. It's said by a few known clinicians
Oh, yeah.
or physiotherapists
I forgot we were talking
around the work. Okay.
Question quick.
What?
Do you like physiotherapist or physical therapist better?
A physio is pretty cool. Physiotherapist.
I'm a physical therapist guy.
I'm a physical therapist, but physiotherapist kind of rings off the tongue. Runs off the tongue.
Well, it's European, so.
Okay, good point. Good point, Alex. All right, I don't know why you asked the question, but
Well, I hear it all the time. Like, like in tennis and stuff, you go see the physio.
yeah.
Like instead of the team doctor. You go see
Every
the
other
physio.
country except I think the U.S. is a physiotherapist.
Yeah.
I don't know about Canada. Canada, I think, is a physiotherapist.
Canada's PT. We looked it up today. Because
physiotherapist would also be PT. Physio.
Canada's physical therapist.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand where your nitpick was there. Yep.
Well, that's how I am. So.
Yep. Welcome to Mostly PT Podcast, where I have to argue with Brant for 35 minutes. Watch us be like on the dot 35 minutes.
Okay, this is the statement. We got off track a little bit.
Well, it's
Thank you, Alex.
Our best episodes when we get off track.
That's true. The statement is, you can't go wrong getting strong. And now let me kind of
approved.
let me explain what that statement is. So, let's say you have a patient, right? And you don't really know what to do. You don't know where to go. Where should I delve into? Should I delve into mobility? Should I focus on decreasing their pain? Should I give them a little bit of ultrasound? Should I, rub their temples a little bit?
Do a little diaphragmatic breathing.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the statement states that just work on strength and everything will fall into place. That's kind of how I interpret it. Like, you can't go wrong getting strong. It's not a bad thing to go for strength. That's the statement. Now, what do you think about that statement? You can't go wrong getting strong.
I have never heard a more factual statement in my life, to be honest with you. I 100% agree with it. I think, when in doubt, you don't know what to do, strengthen your base.
I wouldn't even say when...
Not like you don't know what to do.
Not even say like when you don't know what to do. Like, just...
Not sure what the best course of action is to tackle first.
Yeah.
Get them strong.
Or like example would be, you do know what you're doing, but you're just going to focus on strength and everything. Even if it's just really painful, you're just going to focus on strength.
I think
you're assuming that the pain will likely diminish even if you work on strength.
I want to agree with that. I want to look at like the functional side of it, because not only is it our job to help patients reduce their symptoms, reduce their pain, but also gain functional independence, increase quality of life. gaining strength is going to help them that side of it. It was like 10 episodes ago. They may come in at a 5 out of 10 shoulder pain, but they can only get to 130 degrees of flexion because they're weak. And now you strengthen them up where they can get to 160, and now they can reach into their cabinet and they can grab something, but their pain's still a 5 out of 10. Do you count that as a failure or as a success, even though they still have pain? We made them stronger. They can still do their ADLs and they still can live independently within their home, but their pain's still there. But you got them stronger, and you were able to reach their functional goals and made them more functionally independent. So
I like where your head's at.
Even
points on that.
even if the pain's not fully away, getting them to be able to go back to doing what they were doing, do you call that an absolute failure? I don't, because you're still helping them increase their quality of life.
Yeah.
Now, as soon as you get them strong, okay, now let's worry about symptom modulation. Even though you probably should tackle that first, but even if you're doing that and it's just constant 5 out of 10 pain, can't really change it, then I think going with strength is the best option.
Yeah. Well, a couple points. I really like that answer though.
Yeah.
I like the answer.
Yeah.
But a couple points, like the shoulder example, I don't think it's always right to say, hey, you can't reach your arm up there because it's weak.
Yeah, bad example.
Because like
bad example.
I would say a lot of the times if pain is less, you're gonna be stronger. It's like it's like a pain-induced weakness.
Can I come back with a second thing? Like I get your rebuttal on it for sure. Let's talk about like a study came out recently, like predictor of long-term mortality is quad strength.
Yeah.
Like that. Like
grip strength is
right. So like if you have like a geriatric patient, whatever, no matter what's wrong with them, strengthen their quads because it's going to help them with walking, being able to get out of or be able to complete transfers, and it's going to increase their quality of life and their chance that they live a longer life because their quads are stronger.
Yeah.
So even if you have like an ankle, whatever, have ankle pain at like an older age, middle adult to geriatric patient, strengthen the quads up.
Yeah. I think
that's my other side.
No, that's good.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with strengthening a muscle.
Yeah.
That you're not obviously injuring.
I would say never.
Name a time where it would be detrimental.
I wouldn't say detrimental, but like this is my second point.
Okay, I should let you talk.
So back, I think it was like during my second clinical around that time, I read a paper that basically discussed like, I think it was on the shoulder. It was looking at like muscle strength, like MMT scores, and then like outcomes and satisfaction. And like they went through a trial of treatment, they improved their strength, they were stronger. Okay, so they were stronger at the end of the rehab process compared to at the beginning. But the satisfaction and like the outcomes were not like, how do I say this, as improved, or like they weren't satisfied.
Right, because their pain didn't go away, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the whole paper, but I would say for like personal experience, just because you make someone stronger doesn't mean their life is going to be better. You can be strong, but that doesn't mean it's better.
I think it's more of a devil advocate, because I think
think about athletes.
Right. I think you agree with me in a sense that it's a good.
No, I totally agree with you.
Right, you're playing a little bit of the devil's advocate part.
Yeah,
I like that, but like, I think it's easy to say like it's an objective measure that we can measure for our patients to make them more buy in more as, hey, when we were manual muscle testing you, it's shoulder flexion, I was able to push it down real easy. You test it now, you hold it there for 5 seconds before you break. You gain instant buy-in. Oh my gosh, what I've been coming here the last 6 weeks for, I just gained muscle strength. I must be better.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So
I would say that's good for your symptom modulation patients.
Yeah.
But like for chronic patients, that's probably not the case.
Or day one, they can only do like a 2-pound shoulder press. By the time of discharge, they can do a 10-pound interest. That's results and change that they can actively see. They're going to believe that something is happening in their body. Play a part of a neurophysiological effect that something's going on and something must be healing and getting better. Treat the patient, better outcomes, get them strong.
As long as that aligns with their goals.
Right.
If strength is not one of their goals, or they don't care if they, oh my gosh, 5 out of 5. Like, I'm not going to use that as an objective measure to show them that they're getting better.
Is it your due diligence to make someone stronger that is 3 out of 5 strength.
3 out of.
That's only active range of motion. I mean, I think
if 3 out of 5, they.
That's treating an impairment. I mean, that's your job.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Okay. This statement is very good, but it's not like the golden rule. I'm saying that doesn't apply to everybody. Usually, as a clinician, you're going to have a hypothesis list. You're going to figure out what you need to work on. Obviously, based off the patient goals, what they want, what their expectations are. You're going to have some type of a plan.
Yeah.
This goes well for when you have no clue.
Yeah. But it's also saying you can't go wrong. You can never, implying you can never go wrong getting strong.
Well, now we're going
you can't go wrong getting strong. That's what it means. But if where the statement came from, I'm sure they didn't mean just do that or you always should do that.
Yeah.
That's not where it came from. It probably came from a place of passive treatments. Let's be active. Overall, I like the statement more than I dislike the statement.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
I can totally see you're the devil's advocate argument for it too. I mean, there's other things you have to worry about when treating a patient other than just strength.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's not going to be plastered in my office in the future, and I'm going to put it on a bulletin board or my clipboard every time I treat a patient. It's we have to get this patient stronger. It's no, treat the impairments, treat the patient. Take a holistic approach, a person-centered approach. Use the biopsychosocial model.
Approach, I like that.
Yeah, person-centered care.
Are they saying that now instead of patient-centered?
No, I just said it wrong. It's patient-centered.
It's not wrong.
Well,
I've heard that on podcasts.
Well, maybe instead of viewing the patient as a patient, we should view them as a person.
That's the point, yeah.
That was a Brandt argument right there. God. You think, we don't hang out enough, and yet I'm doing your mannerisms, I'm using your languages. I'm becoming Brandt Plummer. I am the Fargo Fox.
This is episode 21, Mostly PT Pod, out.
We'll catch you next time.